I'm Michelle Leivan, and I'm in downtown North Topeka at No-Till Arts District in front of the Yale Gallery doing my Encounters Alla Prima. And today I'm with Kirk Drager, and he is a math teacher at Washburn Rural and a fantastic musician that you can often see at First Friday Art Walk. I'm going to paint his portrait, and he's going to tell me his story.
I remember one time when I was a little kid, actually I don't remember this. This is family lore. It's one of those things that's told so often you think you remember it, but you don't. Apparently my uncle thought it would be hilarious to get me a drum for a Christmas present.
Of course.
And so apparently he did. I don't really even remember the drum, but a few years later, go down the road, it's time to go to for band, you know, enroll in band in 4th or 5th grade, whatever it is. And I decide I want to be a drummer. We go down there and talk to the band director, and he says, well, you look like a trumpet player. We'll have you play trumpet. I said, no, I'm a drummer.
Isn't that interesting?
And he goes, well, what's your second choice? And my mom steps in right then and says, there is no second choice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I became a drummer. So I learned how to play the drums in the band in school and did all of that stuff. And then in college I met a guy, and we wanted to start a rock band. Anyway, we started this band up called The Innocents, and so I started playing with this guy, just me and him in my basement. And then the original guy who was a guitar player wasn't really a lead kind of guitar player, and said, you know, I know a guy from high school. And so I called up my friend Dave and to come over and play guitar. He's loading his stuff into the house, and I remember I walked into the other room, and the original guitar player's lead singer of the band is sitting there with a pair of scissors stabbing the newspaper because he's pissed off because I brought another guitar player in.
Temperamental artist.
Yeah. He was a temperamental artist. But then we played and everything was great, and so we played together for a couple of years after that. And they got along great once they realized that, you know, the band could do a lot better with 2 guitar players than 1. We moved away to Colorado, didn't play a lot of music. And then several years later I moved back to Kansas, and lo and behold, I get into music again. A friend of ours wanted us to go to Winfield. So we go to Winfield, and I was just bound and determined I'm going to take my guitar. Because I could play guitar a little bit. I wasn't a great guitar player, but I knew a few chords. I had never really just played my guitar and sung before. We wander around, and I'm carrying my guitar around, and I join, and I'm just strumming along with these guys that are playing, and then they all look at me, say, well, you got a song? What? And it's like, I just got out my courage and said, okay, I'm just going to do it. Because it's something I'd kind of wanted to do for a long time, but I just never had the guts to do it. Anyway, so I sang the song, got through it okay. And they said, well, that was pretty good. And so then I found a jam in Auburn that happens once a month. And I just started getting better and better at playing and at singing. One of the songs that I wrote that stands out the most is this song that I came up with overnight. I wake up in the morning, like I often do at about 4 in the morning. But this morning I wake up and there's a song in my head. I run downstairs to my studio, and this song is about 80% complete. So I scribble down what it is that I have of this song, the ideas that I had for the song, and I pluck out the melody and figure out the chords on the guitar. And then I fill in the gaps of what's missing in the song, and then I go back to sleep, because that's fairly normal for me to wake up really early, goof around for a little while, and then go back to sleep. And I forgot all about it. And about 2 weeks later, Becky and I are sitting around the house, and I say, you know, I think I wrote a song a couple weeks ago.
You think?
I think so. And Becky says, well, did you write it down? I said, yeah, I did. Because a lot of times I get these ideas and I think about them while I'm laying in bed, and I don't write anything down or don't go play it on my guitar, and then it's gone. I never find it again. So, but anyway, this time I did write it down. And so I I go down in the studio and I grab the sheet of paper where I wrote it out. It's in a little notebook. And I played it just fine without, you know, it came right out again. And I said to her, have you ever heard that before? She goes, no, I've never heard that before. And so it's kind of like I just woke up with it in my head. You know how you do. You wake up with a song in your head and it sticks with you all day long and you can't get it out. And that's kind of what this one did the morning that I wrote it. And so I just kept wondering, is there a song like this? Have I heard this somewhere? And I'd scan through my iTunes library to see if there was anything even remotely like it, and there wasn't. And so finally I just decided, well, I really did write that song. My song was called The Circus Came to Town.
Circus Came to Town?
Yeah. It's a bizarre story about elephants and clowns. I have no idea, you know. It's just a weird thing that I woke up with. So that's my most memorable songwriting experience.